Welcome to First Thursdays with Sustainable Tulsa. We appreciate you being here today. We're going to get started here. And again, want to thank TCC, Mike Lemus and Cindy Shank there, and the TCC Creativity Center for hosting our meeting here today. And we continue to enjoy the opportunity, this collaboration with them. They've got a very innovative staff it's fun to work with. And students, thank you to the students that are here today. So today we have our guest speaker. The focus of today is recycling. And we have a couple of booths set up, and what I'd like to do before we launch into all of our other things going on, we'll introduce them to come up here and talk for just a minute. But before we do, I do want to thank PSO, Cory Rowland, for her lead sponsorship of First Thursdays. Let's give her a round of applause. Woo! Thank you for continuing to believe in our First Thursdays and what we do here. I also want to thank Covanta, TCC Creativity Center, and Mike McCann with McCann Law. Where are you, Mike McCann? There we go. Let's give them a round of applause. And I want to thank our board members today, which are Tracy Poe, Cory Rowland, and Mike Lemus. And I hope I didn't miss anybody. So thank you guys for being here. And also want to introduce, if you haven't met her yet, Sabrina Bevins. She's our new projects coordinator. You probably saw her on the way in. Let's give her a round of applause. Woo! We're excited to have her here with us, and she starts officially full-time with us next week, and she's been doing great work with STEM Alliance, so we appreciate them sharing her with us. So, again, want to thank our sponsors and everyone that helped to bring us together today. Just a couple real quick announcements. Last week, we had our B2B Case for Sustainability and our scorecard final event. It was really exciting. We had 31 companies share their results with us, and we verified their points. We had collectively 877 points were awarded, and over $1 million was indicated that they saved due to scorecard efforts. And I just think that's a good business case for sustainability, that you can save on the bottom line, a lot of employee engagement. And one of the members is Cox Communication. They joined us really late in the game, but they're a highly energetic team, and they just won the Cox Conserve Chairman's Cup for employee engagement. And they've got an amazing program that they're doing over there. So let's give them a round of applause for that. So I guess if you want to know how to shift culture and engage employee engagement, give a wave there, Patrick. He's been leading that team. He'd be the guy to go talk to there. So, but if you're interested in joining our scorecard and becoming a member, we'd love to have you join us. We've got membership information back there. We also, if you're interested in being a coach, so we have volunteers that we train to be coaches to our business members. And business members include government entities as well as nonprofits. It's just any space that manages people and a space, people in space. So anyway, information back there, and Sabrina can help get you signed up or get the invitation. We also have our Henry Bellman Sustainability Awards, which is next week at Southern Hills Country Club, and we'll be announcing the winners there. And want to give a thank you to Tim and his team with Fox 23, because they put together those videos. So thank you so much for helping to do that. So we'll be celebrating those next week and sharing some of those as the months come through First Thursdays. Next month, for First Thursdays, we'll have typros that will come and talk about what they have done over the last decade and the impact that they're having in the Tulsa area and what their goals are moving forward. This is Tulsa Young Professionals, and I think they were developing when Sustainable Tulsa was developing. So it's really fun to see that evolution that's been happening and also the impact that typros has been having. So you want to learn about some of their crews, some of the things that they've been doing, and also what they want to do and how to get involved. Come to the next First Thursdays, and that'll be in October. So before we get started with our great speaker today, I want to invite up Mike Lemus, Natalie Malloy, Emily Morton, and Jessica Withington. And they're all just going to give us a little quick update about what they have for us today. So let's let's see. So Mike's going to come first. Mike is with TCC and really helped lead the charge. TCC was our second top performer this year in scorecard. They did an amazing job. And so anyway, they've got a recycling program. He's going to give you a little update. And for today, being the theme is recycling, we want to make sure that everyone is recycling and composting their lunch today. So here we go.
Good afternoon and welcome. The college has been recycling for a number of years, and we did receive some credit for that in our scorecard effort this year. But we're going to ramp it up. We have a formal sustainability committee that will begin meeting in September, and in anticipation of that, we have placed around the college a dual bin system, a series of these, approximately 40 distributed among our 4 campuses. What I have today for you is for those of you who are have some connection with the college, I have a map that describes each of our 4 campus locations, on the back of which describes in depth the location of each of the dual recycle systems that we have around. And in each of our units, we'll be collecting plastic, paper, cardboard, glass, metal, and batteries. So the battery part is new for us, and we're excited about that possibility. And I thank you for your time and interest in this topic. Cory?
Thanks, Mike. So, so back there we have bins that it shows you what goes in trash, what goes in composting, and what goes in recycling. So actually, okay, yeah, Emily, come on up. Emily is with Trace and STEM Alliance, and today they're taking some items and they're going to share with us how you can recycle some things with them. Okay.
Hello. My name's Emily with the Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance, and if you guys aren't familiar with what that is, we really work to engage, equip, and empower students, teachers, the community as a whole in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have lots of different programs and events, so make sure to check out our website. Today, we're kind of looking at the STEM Shop, which is a really unique program. It's actually a recycling program, as well as we have a budget to order items, but this works to equip teachers or educators, and I use the word educator very loosely. That includes formal K-12 or higher ed, informal ed, or homeschool, anybody, scouts, anybody who's educating anybody else and using any kind of STEM critical thinking. We want to make sure you have the materials you need to make sure that is done and not having to pay out of pocket for those things. So we have our STEM mobile outside that I am happy to take donations, no matter how big or how small. Then we also have the table back in the back, and these kind of donations are anything from old office materials, folders, binders, staplers, hole punches. Teachers put those things to use very, very well. Any kind of paper you have, or even electronics are a really big thing. Old electronics, doesn't matter whether they work or don't work. We put them in the hands of students, and they will take those components apart and make new amazing things with them and learn a lot about STEM and engineering in the process. So if you want to learn more about the STEM exchange, come on back to the back. That's also where we have cards that you can write down what you need to help STEM education in your community, or things that you have to offer your community. We're happy to take those and make sure those connections get made. Thank you very much.
So a great reuse. So Natalie, if you could come up and share with us about how we can compost our lunch today, that's awesome. Thank you.
Hi, well, I'm Natalie. I'm here with Sun Composting today. We are a startup food waste composting business. We've listed out the different restaurants that we pick up from here in the Tulsa community. So if you're really lucky today, you'll get to take home some of our compost with you. It could have been made from a restaurant that you've eaten at from downtown, so it really helps to close that loop. So we're thrilled to be here, and anything that you'd like to find out about us, we're happy to answer your questions. Again, we're growing, so it's exciting to take on, to meet new people and let everyone know what we're doing, and take it from there. So we're happy to be here today.
So if you're interested in adding composting to your office space or workspace, this is where you would go. Let me invite Jessica Withington here with Typro. She's going to talk about what we're going to be doing next month here. So, all right.
Thank you, Cory. So my name is Jessica Withington, and I am the co-crew leader for the Tulsa Young Professionals Sustainability crew. Quick shout out to one of our sponsors in the room, Cox. Hi, Cox. Thank you. So the Chamber of Commerce created Type Rose because we want to attract and retain young talent in Tulsa so that we have more commerce and economic prosperity. They think that our opinion is important. We are 8 crews. I'm here representing the sustainability crew. I see some of the members, Scott, Brannin, Joel, Apple, Julie. Great to see you guys here. So we are also a little political, and basically the Chamber has given us a vehicle to drive the change that we want to see. And a lot of our agenda is environmental. We are the crew that lobbied and got recycling brought to Tulsa. So we are able to recycle curbside because of our efforts. So if you are a young professional or a young student and you have environmental concerns, please join our group. We do bring change. Our issue right now is we think that people should be able to recycle e-waste as easily as we are able to landfill e-waste. So right now I can put a computer screen, whatever, on the side of my road. The landfill fee is 0. The city will take it and landfill it. But if I were to take it and have it recycled sustainably, I would have to pay for it. And this goes for industrial, commercial, and residential. So we want to increase those regulations and increase the opportunities for cheap and easy recycling options. So to bring some awareness to this, we are having an agenda setting for Type Rose in October. We decided October would be the best month to have our e-waste drive. So we are partnering with the Electronic Synergy Foundation with Scott and maybe TCC, hopefully. And we want to collect e-waste, which will also increase, or we will raise money this way. And proceeds, half of the proceeds go to the Tulsa Young Professionals Foundation. We give grants out and do several things for the community with that money, like design a new Tulsa flag, for example. So next month, we will be here receiving e-waste if you have anything at home. The only thing that we do not want are the big, thick TVs and the big, old school computer monitors. Because we're gonna save them for STEM. So bring your e-waste, whatever you have from your home, to the next meeting. We will have, I believe, the parking lot that's catty corner from here to receive this e-waste. Bring it from your company, from your businesses. And thank you, Cory. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay. And so she's going to hand out those flyers so you'll be reminded. And we'll also have then our email out to you all for the next first Thursday. But so now to bring the M.e.t, the Metropolitan Environmental Trust. Brannin is their executive director, and he is focused on, committed on sustainability, making Tulsa green. He has a team that has recycled 4.3 million pounds of solid waste in the 2017 fiscal year, and they're now supporting the Crow Creek community and its new meadow, invested in the prosperity of green country, and the M.e.t continues to employ adults and with developmental disabilities, and will soon kick off Tulsa Green STEM Program, which I think he's going to speak with us today about that, and that's STEM education with a Green Tint. He operates this nonprofit with 11 recycling drop-off centers, and I'm sure he'll share with us where those cities are. Graham holds a bachelor's degree in geology and petroleum engineering from the University of Tulsa, and after spending 15 years in the oil industry, he chose to enter the environmental compliance and consulting business before becoming the executive director of the M.e.t. Brannin also worked with the Water and Sewer Department for the city of Tulsa, which is actually where I met Graham several decades ago. That's how old we are. And he was always just delightful to visit with and talk about water quality issues. And he is, for our community, I think we're really lucky to have Graham Brannin. He is committed to protecting our environment, and he knows about water quality and solid waste, and he is out there tirelessly committed to doing that for all of us, and specifically the children right now. So let's give him a very warm welcome. Graham Brannin.
Well, thank you, Cory. I really appreciate it. I've kind of followed Cory around for the last 20 years or so, and it's been a great pleasure to do so. She started, well, at least I met her when she worked at the city of Tulsa. That's kind of a kept secret. She keeps that secret. She worked for the city of Tulsa for a while, and you might ask her about that job she had. It's pretty colorful. But anyway, then she went to the conservation district, and so I worked with her there, and especially on the water quality side. And then she went to the M.e.t. What a place to go to. And so she was great at the M.e.t. and brought so much energy there. Then she went over and she started working with Tulsa Partners, and she dragged me over there and I'm still on their board. So, and then she was simultaneously working with Sustainable Tulsa. And I think she has just done an incredible job with Sustainable Tulsa. The scorecard is a game changer for the community. It's the best scorecard, I would say, in the country, but I'm a little bit biased. So anyway, I just think we should give her a hand for what she's done. Okay, let's see if we can roll with this. How do we get on? Okay. She'll handle the technical side. There we go. All right, gotcha. Okay, so I really do think this is a partnership. Obviously, I know a lot of people in this room, and the ones that I don't know, I hope I get to know, because that's the key to this whole thing, is people getting together and getting to know one another and learning how from each other, and then being able to partner together. So I think that's the only way you get things done, especially in Tulsa. It's a small town. You got to get to know some folks, and when you do, you can get some things done. So I'm fortunate enough that I've lived most of my life here. So as far as the M.e.t, I've been involved on the periphery of the M.e.t for the last 20 years, especially with their pollutant events that they were doing for those years, and I always worked those and learned a lot. But I also worked for the city of Tulsa during that time, and so I've got a water quality background, but this is more solid waste. And the mission of the M.e.t, believe it or not, we had the same mission since 1987 up until a few months ago, and our trustees wrote a new one, which I was glad that happened. And it's to develop, deliver, and support environmental programs and services, and to educate citizens on sound environmental practices. So we've kind of broadened our scope a little bit, and especially hit that educational part, which is critical for our community. We're a Title 60 trust under state law and government trust. So we have 11 local jurisdictions, so each one has a trustee on my board. So I report to 11 people on a board, and they're a tremendous board. I'm really happy to say that everybody we're moving in the same direction. They're very supportive. But you can see the list of towns, and then we have Tulsa County also. So basically around town, and then you get up a little out of Tulsa proper, and you go to Claremore, Coweta, Collinsville. They're all part of our trust. In fact, I'm also looking at others perhaps to join us. So pretty excited about the trust that we have. We've been around 30 years also, and it's kind of changed a lot during those 30 years. But our bread and butter has been the recycling depots, the drop-off centers. And when we started in about 1994 with that, it was the only game in town pretty much. I mean, you could go to a metal recycler for metals, but there was not much else you could do. It wasn't very practical. So we started placing these centers throughout the community. And we still have 4 in Tulsa, even though the curbside program is alive and doing well. And we're glad about that, but we're still necessary. We take a lot of things, as I'll point out. But you can tell by the map and everything that we cover a wide area. Like I talked about Claremore and Collinsville, and we're Owasso's in it, Jinx, et cetera, Sand Springs. So those are all our people that are entities that are in our trust and that I'm responsible to report to. And we have our auditor in the office today, so everything's going really well. So rest assured, we're in good shape. And I'm glad I have great staff, thank the Lord. But anyway, these drop-off centers, I wanted to stress that they're 24/7. So we might not be having somebody operating them at the time, but we have drop-off that can happen at any time. Our closest one here is at 11th and Cincinnati, and unfortunately the highway's closed off there, the entrance to the Broken Arrow, so it's not quite as busy as it was, but we're right just down the street a couple blocks from here, and we have a great crew over there. But what you see there is a picture of Broken Arrow's depot. That's our biggest depot where we do the most. And actually, Claremore is now starting to challenge that, which is pretty impressive what Claremore's doing. In paper especially, they're matching Broken Arrow. So that's a challenge to anybody in Broken Arrow. But anyway, we love that depot, and you can see the big, long list of what we take. It's a lot of things. And so what doesn't go in your curbside program, there's a lot of things that you can take to the M.e.t. And of course, we take the stuff that goes in there too. But you see some unusual things like, well, plastic bags, for instance. You don't want those going in those blue bins. Hopefully people are getting that message. It's a really big problem, but we take them. Others take them too, like Reesers, et cetera. And it's becoming a bigger challenge to recycle those, but we're still in the game. Batteries is another thing, and we have a fluorescent bulb and ballast program I'll talk a little bit about. But we take eyeglasses also all the time. We have a little mailbox that you can put your eyeglasses in if you're through with them, and the Lions Club helps us get those out to folks that need them. And then we just added for a limited time only the eclipse glasses that you might have laying around. So there's Astronomers Without Borders is taking them and getting them to South America for their big total eclipse in 2 years. So they'll get them to folks that wouldn't be able to get them otherwise. So I think it's a good cause. So if you have them, drop them off at any of our depots and we'll get them to the right place. So that kind of shows that we try to stay up on things, and that's eclipse glasses is one area that we're staying with it. I think it's so important, and obviously I can't take credit for this because the M.e.t's been around a lot longer than I've been involved with it, but contracting with these agencies that have workers with developmental disabilities. It's been the great pleasure that I have had, kind of the extra thing. I've been in the environmental side, but this is really a quality of life issue. It's a quality of life issue for the families. It's a quality of life issues for the workers, and it's a quality of life issues for the people that go to the depots that have the service, because they get something out of it too. And you see a picture there with me with my Santa hat on at a Christmas party where we're giving out awards to these hard workers. All those there pictured have 15 plus years of service at M.e.t depots. So these folks are dedicated hard workers, and it's a joy to be involved with it. As far as our kind of fiscal year in review, we put together a document, and actually got it today, but this is kind of the laundry list that we put in it. And we want to tout that we recycled 4.3 million pounds of solids. That's your cans and bottles and that kind of thing, cardboard, et cetera. And this year, fiscal year, and then 34,000 gallons of liquids, primarily being used oil, but we also take antifreeze and fryer oil, and we have a nice billboard that says that at our depot over here, thanks to the city of Tulsa. They pay us a little bit for that, so we like that. And so that's a good service that we have. This commercial fluorescent bulb and ballast program is starting to take off. PSO's been supportive. We've had others. The DEQ has been supportive of that. These bulbs, commercial entities have a regulatory responsibility, first of all, to dispose of these properly. And just as a quality of life issue, as a health issue, we don't want the mercury getting out into the environment. We have enough mercury in the environment already, and so it's real important to do that. So we have that service. And we publish a recycling directory every year, and that requires quite a bit of work, and I would thank my intern that's back there, Julia Richardson. She's helping with that. We have to update that every year, and it has to be updated. Everything, make sure we're right. So that's a chore, but it's important. And we have it online also. So that's something you can go to. We're happy to get phone calls. We get them, a lot of them every day, and I've learned a lot just listening to my workers answer the phone. because I'm starting to answer the phone now. So it's just taken me about 2 years. So anyway, I'm a slow learner. But my staff is incredible. And we've hosted the Enviro Expo downtown for about 19 years. And that really brings a lot of folks. We have about 26 or so nonprofits and a few for-profits that come and present their information in booths. And the folks just come on down from all the buildings around downtown. And there's over 1,000 people that come visit. It's really, really well attended, and it's popular. We also have the American Recycles Day banquet every year in November. America Recycles Day, if you don't know, is November 15th of every year. And our banquet this year is November 16th. And we are taking nominations for Recycling Heroes. I think we might even have a form or some information about it. But yeah, I think we do. So we would love to get some nominations, more nominations about some of the heroes out there that we haven't identified already. And it's a fun time, and of course it's a little bit of a fundraiser for us too. So we have an active bin Baro program, and we've really been expanding that lately, and we're dropping trailers and bins all over the place now. It goes past our service area actually, because we can't say no. So in fact, we recycled the Great Raft Race last weekend, and really, we just provided the bins and the trailer, dropped them off, and the other folks did the work, Ryan Howes being one of them, just as a great leader for River Parks. So we were happy to do that. We did the fireworks at July 4th also. But we do small events, and we also do nonprofit long-term loans in schools and that kind of thing. So our bins are all over the place. And we also partner with Pepsi in some of these. So we also still have a household pollutant collection program. And it's just changed. You might have gotten used to our twice-a-year events, and now we're partnering with Tulsa, City of Tulsa, with their permanent facility, and we offer the services they can go to that facility, get a voucher through us for all the towns outside of Tulsa. Obviously, in your Tulsa, you just call Tulsa. If you're with us, you just call us, and we can get you the appointment you need. And that's a great service. And then we're doing specialty collection events around the city and outside of the city, including the laundry list you see there. And one thing I've mentioned would be smoke alarms. Folks think, okay, they last forever. I had one in my house for about 20 years and found out that they have a 10-year life at most, and you should replace them. But they tend to have a radioactive isotope in them, so that you shouldn't throw them in the trash. You don't want to burn them at the trash energy plant, and you don't want to put them in the landfill, so we do some collections there. And same with thermostats and thermometers. You don't want that mercury out there. So we've had a really good year, and we really are transforming the M.e.t, and that's kind of my message for the day is transforming the M.e.t. Fiscal recovery was the first thing on the agenda, is we had to get out of debt and show a surplus. We've done that, and that's really important. So we're able to do more things. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so that was a great effort on everybody's part, and support of the community is very, very important too. We've expanded, while we've done that, we've expanded our programs and services that we provide. And I'll detail a little bit more on this. What I wanted to show here, I think it's important, is municipal solid waste, and this is a little more up-to-date than what I had previously shown in other presentations. This is 2016 EPA data, shows what kind of waste is being generated in our communities. And you'll see there that a lot of those materials are recyclable. Most all of them are recyclable, and the M.e.t is recycling a lot of those, and the City of Tulsa and others are. Plastics, metals, paper is a huge one. But then you also see yard trimmings and food waste. Those are really big pieces of the pie. And that's where Sun Composting and others come into play, and your general backyard composter type folks, that we need to tackle that. That's a big chunk. And so food waste especially, composting food waste is real important. And so the M.e.t's trying to do better with that, with our education. We have bins that we sell, and we're getting into the schools, et cetera. So I think this is a good reference to show what are the big items and what should we do with them. So this is kind of our target right here, and how are we doing? So you can see there some of the numbers about how much is landfilled, 53%. That's too high. We want to do better. And of course, in Oklahoma, it would be higher. That's a national number. It would be higher in Oklahoma than that. So we can do better. One area that we obviously do burn our trash here in Tulsa. So if it's just trash, that's a good thing, okay? But if it's recyclable material, that's not a good thing. We don't want to burn recyclable material. We want to use it. So we want it to go to its highest use. So Tulsa's curbside program has taken off, as everybody knows, and it's been a great program. But we have a big contamination issue in those blue carts. And so the M.e.t is out doing a lot of education, and we're just educating on the program that the city of Tulsa has developed, Focus on the Four. It's not that complicated, and people need to keep it simple. And you can see there 4 things: cans, which means aluminum and steel, and then paper, which includes cardboard. You flatten it, fit it in the bin, cardboard and paper. And then you see plastics, which are basically jugs and bottles. And then you see the glass bottle there too. So glass bottles. So those are the things that go in, and pretty much everything else, you need to find another way to recycle them at this time. So don't put them in there. It causes much more harm than good. You might have a good heart, but you could create problems, like if you put plastic bags in there, garden hoses and other crazy things. So it hurts the processing equipment. So anyway, we can do better. We're assisting schools with recycling programs. You would not believe that Tulsa Public Schools really did not have any recycling program for classrooms up until late last year. And it has just started. So that was pretty hard to imagine, but it's true. So now, yeah, thanks. So what we're doing there is we're assisting the schools, and we're especially concentrating on north side and east side, where the contamination issues are the worst in the blue bins. So basically, while we up recycling in the classroom, we can educate the kids, and then they can educate their parents. Better yet, what I think is best is that the kids become the solid waste managers in their homes. And I've had second graders raise their hands. Yeah, I do the trash and recycling. I said, okay, well now you're educated. You know how to do it right. Do it. Take that responsibility. Second graders can do this stuff. So I think even adults might be able to handle it too. So I think we can do this. We can do a lot better. And the value of the recyclables go up as the contamination goes down. Okay, and that's one thing we're proud of at the M.e.t. Glass, for instance. We keep glass separated by color, and our glass can be recycled into glass bottles, okay? Most glass that's recycled it becomes insulation, okay? We're talking about fiberglass, things like that. But it's because it's so contaminated. So a higher purpose is creating bottles out of bottles, okay? And we can do that at the M.e.t. Most places you can't. So that's something that our workers can take credit for in the great job that they do. So I think it's important to understand that. But keep it simple, focus on the 4 with those blue carts, and then think outside the box for the other things, and give us a call. Tulsa Green STEM is something we coined this term over a year ago, and it's basically, like Cory said, STEM education with a green tint. And the idea is that we get into schools, and primarily at this point Tulsa Public Schools, but we're in other schools also. But we really want to give teachers something that they need, and not that we just want to force on them, okay? So they need STEM education. As Emily knows, these schools all need STEM education. It's a requirement. They have to do it. There's standards for it. Okay, so why not have some of that education be in an environmental area? And we can do that. So I was fortunate enough with Tulsa Regional STEM Alliance's assistance to have a teacher as an intern. They call them externs. So we had a teacher, Rochelle Wilson. She teaches over at East Central. We had her employed for 6 weeks, and we worked her very, very hard for 6 weeks, but she loved it. And she did a great job of matching what our programs do to specific state state STEM standards, and also what some of these other agencies do. Very important to give them what they need, not what we want to give them. And so we can work together and do both. But we also want to be a hub for these outside agencies to access the schools and make it efficient for everyone, for the teachers, for the administrators, and for the agencies. So that's something we're just starting. You see the list of some of the folks that we're working with, but we have a lot of others on the list, and we're just starting to get that going. But we're down to the lesson plan level for composting. So we have an 8-lesson plan that our teacher helped us generate. We're going to kick it off over at Walt Whitman Elementary School and get some composting going there, and have specific lessons that fit the state STEM standards that the teachers can know that they've ticked that one off the list and that one off the list. And that's what they want to see. And so it'll actually help the teacher. So we're excited about the composting. Inside the loop here, recycling that we're doing, City of Tulsa's, the TARE Board has been supporting us in doing that. And so we have a CART program. We have right now 7 participants. You can see them. Sound Pony was our first one. They're just a bar, straight and simple. And they're also some really good folks. Mike Wozniak is very involved with Emerson Elementary, and he also Bike Club. So therefore we're involved with Bike Club. But great group. And then all these others, they're all recycling with us. And we're taking it all down to our downtown depot, and so that helps keep our workers employed. And that's very important to them. The biggest fear these workers can have is the thought of losing their job. And that sometimes rumors come out, oh, we're going to close the depot, and they get very upset. So we're keeping that depot open. And as far as the Ben Baro program, a little more on that. These long-term loans for nonprofits and schools, we're getting a lot of more out. And then we do events, like I had mentioned, and people can pick up and return the bins if they're small events, or if they're large events, we'll take a trailer out, drop all the stuff off. They do the event, they throw it all back in the trailer, and then we get it done. So we pick it up and get it processed. And that's a great service, and people love it. And we're going to do one in Coweta in a week or so, and there's supposed to be 20,000 people there. So Coweta is going to grow for that event, I guess. So anyway, but you can see some of the different bins that we use and that we loan out. Our commercial bulb processing program, we're doing that at our baling center, another good employment opportunity for us, and something we can actually make a little bit of extra money for that we could put back into our programs. So that's kind of an unusual model for us, and it has some great potential because there is so much that's not being done in that area. And we can do it here locally, and they don't have to ship the bulbs across the country. So I think that's an advantage. Promoting the household pollutant facility that Tulsa has. This is the simple graphic that I generated that Councilor Patrick thought was great because he knows from campaigns that you have to get the message out in a few seconds or forget it. And so this was up at the Tulsa Drillers game that we promoted, and people could actually get the message. So if you're inside Tulsa, call that number, and if you're outside, call us. Okay, it's pretty simple. And then we'll work out what can be done as far as your household pollutants. There's no need to keep these household pollutants in your house if you're not going to use them, okay? They're only a danger to your kids, you, the environment, okay? So if you can get rid of them, replace them with something that's better. Don't replace them at all, whatever. But get rid of them if you're not going to use them. And if you're going to use them, fine. Just read the label. That would be helpful. And use them as they're actually supposed to be used, and don't abuse them, and it's all good. So that's obviously something we partnership with City of Tulsa and all of our communities. All of our communities are in this program. So those vouchers are free to people in those communities. As far as other efforts that are going on, this list could go on, but the M.e.t, anything that Sustainable Tulsa does, the M.e.t is in. So we want to support anything that's Sustainable Tulsa. That includes the scorecard. That includes First Thursdays, obviously. Anything that they're doing, we want to support because they're a big force in this community, and I think they'll be a big force outside of this community as years go by. So I think it's very important. There's one event, Monarchs on the Mountain. The date is wrong on that. It's September 23rd, actually. But that's on Turkey Mountain, and we've had it 1 year. And this is just a group of folks with different agencies that have gotten together and said, hey, we want to support this migration that happens to go both north and south. So we get the migration both ways here in Tulsa. So we want to support it. And there's so much, it's a really good event. We had over 1,000 people there. We had to have shuttle buses. First time, we were told to not promote it. We didn't hardly promote it, and that's what happened. So there's a lot of, and of course, Sustainable Tulsa's a big player in this. And so you want to keep that on your calendar. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of nonprofits there. There's a few for-profits. You can get some plants and things like that, and to get yourself a way station at your house or whatever. So I think it's important, and we can make a difference here in Tulsa. It's a very important stop in the migration. They're stopping here soon, right about now, to go south to Mexico. And we want to give them a good start to go to Mexico. So it's important for us. Tulsa's an important stop. Another group that I've been involved with for the last 20 years is the Crow Creek. I've been monitoring Crow Creek through the Blue Thumb program for about 20 years, and also the Oklahoma Conservation Commission. So Friends of Blue Thumb, that kind of stuff. I've been on their board. So right now what we've done with Crow Creek is we've actually taken a site that was a repetitive loss site where there was flooding, and the city of Tulsa was just mowing the grass down about that high. And that was all they did with the site, and sprayed some herbicides and stuff, and just kept it like that. Well, we, with their support, overwhelming support, we actually have kind of taken that over and made a meadow out of it. It's just in its infancy right now, but the idea is that you, instead of the runoff, you absorb it and you clean the water, and then you use the water, and then you have the pollinators and the habitats that you want to have so your community can be more beautiful. So, and it's an educational site. So we're just in the infancy there. We're having a cleanup September 16th, and basically we're asking folks, if you don't come to this event, walk your neighborhood, pick up some trash, because whatever trash is around the neighborhood, it finds its way to the nearest storm drain, down to the nearest creek, to the nearest river, and on to the Gulf of Mexico. So this is a national kind of effort. So we'd love for folks to be involved, and if you don't know how to get involved, just give me a call and we'll get you hooked up. But if you show up at Crow Creek at this location, you'll get something to do. So you might even get to wade around the creek, which is fun. So that's another event that we have that we're supporting. There's a lot more. As you know, Tulsa has a lot going on, and we're a tight-knit group here in the environmental world. So we need to work together, and we can all do a lot more together than we can separately. So I think that's something that Tulsa and our community has done well, is we're working together and leveraging our resources, and that's important. So so this is something the M.e.t thinks is important too, and I get support for that from my trustees, and that's important too. So anyway, we're doing a good job in Tulsa. We can do a whole lot more, and it just takes everybody doing a little something and then passing it on to your neighbor, and it'll grow, I guarantee. And so I'm encouraged in what's going on here, and Sustainable Tulsa is really taking a lead, and so I think with all of our efforts, including the private sector and the public sector and the nonprofit sector, which is so healthy in Tulsa, thank goodness, that we can do some really good work here and make this community we all can be proud of. So that's really all I had other than my contact information. We're always looking for money and help and all those kind of things, but I'm not going to belabor that. But but if you ever want to have some extra time or money you want to give, we'll help you out there. But anyway, hopefully, can I take some questions? Yeah. Okay.
The portable mic, is it working?
Yeah, the portable mic, so you have to yell, but I would love to take any questions you have. Anybody? Go ahead, Frank.
I was just wondering how are you funded?
Okay. Oh, my funding. Yes, that's a good point. The majority of my funding comes from those 11 local jurisdictions, and then we have a Friends of the M.e.t, which is a true 501c3 nonprofit arm that we get money through also, through donations and that kind of thing, fundraisers and that kind of thing. So, but a majority of it is through those jurisdictions. We're trying to diversify our funding and get more, like especially with our educational efforts, we want to get more support there. So we're looking at more grants, things like that. But right now, a majority of it is coming from our 11 local jurisdictions. Good question. Yeah.
There's an ongoing effort in the city to convert a lot of the existing lighting platforms to LED.
Right.
You all work with contractors in the disposal of the fluorescent and metal halide components?
That is a great question, and I think Cory could talk more about that maybe off mic. But yes, we've been lucky to have that relationship with PSO where they do, especially if anybody's involved with those, which they should be with PSO if they're eligible. If you're doing a lighting retrofit, you should be working with their contracted company to get rebates and that kind of thing to go to LEDs. And when you are doing that, you are basically required to do the right thing with your fluorescent bulbs. So yes, and we're one of their providers, their vendors. So that's.
PSO requires you to dispose of them properly for us to do it? Is that what you're saying?
Right. So it is in their written terms and conditions as a requirement.
Yeah, if you choose a good lighting contractor, they can take care of all that for you, or for lighting.
Right. Right. Yeah, there you go. They have preferred, especially for the they have different programs, but for the prescriptive program, they have preferred vendors, and they know what they're doing, and they know how to do the paperwork. I used one for a lighting retrofit. I talked one of we don't own much. We don't own any property, but we lease, and so I talked our landlord into doing a LED retrofit on our bailing center, and told her it was an improvement to her building, and she bought it. And so I got her a good discount, and we have much better lighting, and we also don't hit it with our forklift and stuff. So our low-lying lights. So it's much better, and it was a very good price. So yeah, that's a good question. Other questions? Yeah, Julie.
Compact fluorescent bulbs.
Okay. Okay. Right. Compact fluorescents, they do have mercury in them. They should not be thrown in the trash. We take these calls all the time. We do not take those, especially residentially. We don't take those. But your Home Depot and Lowe's will take residential, a limited number of residential, including the tubes, but a limited number. And commercial folks can't use it. So the commercial folks need to go to somebody that can process it, like us or somebody else.
Those clamshells are like salads.
Oh, now I'm trying to think of what those are.
They're clear plastic, like clear plastic food.
Oh. Now are they cardboard or are they? They're plastic. Okay. Oh boy. We would not take those at the Met. What we say at the Met, and this goes to right. Okay. And who are you?
We make them into like shrinky dinks for kids.
Okay. And what's your organization?
I have a business called Salvage Nuggets.
Okay.
We're a shop in event space, but we teach recycling.
Okay, so Salvage Nuggets is a solution. We need to add these to our list because what the Met takes are bottles and jugs that have a handle or a neck. Those are the most recyclable, and a lot of other things something special has to happen. Some of these things people say recycle, and there's really no market for it for a lot of those around Tulsa. So we stick with what we have a market for.
The city of Tulsa takes plastics 1 through 7.
Correct. Yes, they do take 1 through 7, and they might have a home for parts of those, but right now there's not a home for all of those, and not around here. So they do take them, and some of it will end up going to the trash to energy plant. Yeah, go back there. Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say thank you. I think I can skip my therapy session to sit in a place and hear a man talk about monarchs and so thank you.
Well, yeah.
Also, I just wanted to ask you about yard trimming. Because I lived in St. Louis for about 28 years, and in the early 90s, even we were using recycling, biodegradable bags, right, for leaves
Right.
Used to be, they went, they got mulch, you got to go pick up the mulch.
Right.
In your conversations with the city of Tulsa, anyone ever talked about anything like that?
Oh, yeah, that was talked about, and that was initially going to be part of the program for curbside, and that started out and didn't work out well. So unfortunately now they don't have that solution. So at the curb, so the green waste is going to the trash to energy plant. Now they do have a green waste site, and it's a great place. I've been to it many times, and usually picking up rather than dropping off, because they have great wood chips, especially for mulch. So it's a great place to get all the free mulch you want. If you have a pickup truck or borrow one, they'll load it for you, and you can use that stuff all day long. So there's just almost an unlimited supply there. But as far as grass clippings and stuff at your house, that solution is not readily available. So I think that's one of those things where, you know, you're the community. If you want something like that, you need to talk about it, because I think it would be a much higher use. That's kind of the term I try to use, rather than burning it. Burning it's better than some things, but composting it is a whole lot better than that. Other question? Right. It's about Pine and 145th, I think. Yeah. It's a great facility. It's really well run, and it's greatly utilized. So I would definitely encourage you, go get some stuff. And if you have a bunch of brush or anything like that you want to get rid of, I'd dump it off there and grab some of the chips while you're going out.
A relevant announcement, Brock's Green Barn is sponsoring a compost workshop this Saturday at 10
Right.
o'clock. Steve Wood, who's a master gardener and a master recycler,
Oh, yeah.
is teaching it, and I am as well. If you have questions, come talk to me. It's free.
Yeah, and that's another great place to call, is Grog's Green Barn. If you've got questions, call us, call them, and if we don't know, we'll call them. But yeah, they do a great job, and Steve Wood does education for us also. Yeah, Julie.
Plastic bags from the grocery, they just blow away in the landfill, right?
Right. Well, no, they don't go in your blue cart, but there's no reason to put them in the trash. You can recycle those, and as of right now, all the places are still taking them that I know of, including the M.e.t. So, yeah. Right. So Salvage Nuggets will take a lot of things, so they're a good place to call. There's no talk of that I know of, and then you have to work with the providers too. And for instance, your newspaper. If you take the newspaper, that plastic bag is not recyclable, and that's due to the change when they changed ownership. So we've talked to them about that, and we haven't gotten anywhere. The Terror Board's talked to them about that. So that's something somebody else might want to talk about. Yeah.
I'm a recycle freak.
Okay.
That's the first. Another one is I work with landlords, and the tenants, the group containers, they use it for trash.
Right.
Every time they move out, they have that trash even a year
Right.
in there.
Right.
It needs to be some kind of way that they're not going to use it for recycle.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah, there are places for textiles, for clothing. There are places all over to recycle that. So there's a lot of abuse of those carts, and so there's a multi-pronged approach. The city of Tulsa is doing education, the M.e.t's doing education. We're getting into the schools. We're doing a lot of those things, and then they have the hammer side of the equation, which is they warn them, and if they don't do it right, they take their blue card away. So that's what you have to do. It's unfortunate, but some folks can't be taught.
Yesterday, that's what I did. I emptied one of the trash cans. There's some narrow you have to go all the way in with your head.
The miraculous thing you'll find is as you recycle more with your blue cart, all of a sudden you have plenty of room in your other cart. And so then you get the smaller cart and you save money. That's what we did. It wasn't rocket science, but I can do an equation, and if I save money, I'm going to try to do it. Are we done? That's probably. I think we've probably done enough questions, but I thank you so much for hearing me out.